Did you know that a person can bleed to death in less than 5 minutes while waiting for emergency medical care to arrive? Well, here to show us a few simple techniques that can save a life is Dr. Lillian Liao. She's the Director of Pediatric Trauma at University Health. How are you doing?
Good, thanks for having us.
Well, this is you're welcome, and this is very important because I was thinking, if something happened, emergency, and somebody started really bleeding to death, I don't know if I would know exactly what to do. So these techniques can definitely help.
Right, so Stop the Bleed class is a course that's 1 hour that we offer to teach the bystander how to save a person from a life-threatening bleed. And so really there are a few simple steps. And we call it the ABCs of bleeding control, and you can think of it as bleeding CPR.
Bleeding CPR,
Yeah.
okay. There's our full screen. There's the ABCs of bleeding control. What exactly are they, doctor?
So the first thing you do is alert for A, call 911. If someone is hurt, you identify it, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna get my phone out, I'm gonna dial 911 so that help can be on their way.
Right.
B is for bleeding, identify the area of bleeding, and sometimes it could be your grandma in the kitchen who's cut themselves.
Right.
Right, by accident.
And it can happen quick.
It could happen really quick.
Okay.
And so now she's wearing, of course she's wearing a shirt.
Right.
And so there's blood everywhere and you don't know where it is. You gotta take it off and figure out where the blood is coming from.
Okay, well show me what to do, doctor.
All right. I'm going to have Tataka come here and show us what actual bleeding is like on this limb.
Okay.
So in the class, we'll have limbs like this where now very quickly you see, oh my gosh, someone is bleeding.
You'll find out real quick if you can take
Call
the side of blood.
911.
Right.
Right. Now, I'm going to take off the shirt.
Okay.
And then I found this area of bleeding. If you have gloves, you can go ahead and put them on.
Okay.
If you happen to have them.
Do I need gloves? No, you're going to do it.
Okay, so now I've seen the blood, and maybe I have a kitchen towel that looks like this. I'm going to see, oh my gosh, you're bleeding. Okay, I'm going to help you, and I'm going to pack this wound with either a kitchen towel or gauze, if we have them, until the bleeding stops.
Okay.
And see
so you
how
just pack it. Now, what if they're at this point? They're probably screaming and yelling.
They are. And you as the person who's the bystander have to be focused on stopping the bleeding, and at the same time, if you can manage it, reassure the person who's injured, you're gonna be okay.
Okay.
I'm going to stop the bleeding, and help is already on their way because I've already done the A part.
Okay.
Now you've done A, B, C.
Okay, now you got the A, so we got the B, C left. What do you do after you do this?
So now, I mean, you've identified the bleeding, that was the B, and C is controlling the bleeding. So you've done A, B, C.
Oh, this is it, okay.
This is it, and
All
now
right.
the bleeding stopped. I just hold pressure until EMS gets there.
Doctor, that's pretty easy then, if you know the steps.
If you know the steps,
Right,
right? And
right.
so if you take the class, you'll start to learn the steps, and you'll be comfortable with it. And a big part of it is controlling your own emotions and staying calm.
You know, what comes with that is practice and going to a training and doing that. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, tomorrow is Stop the Bleed Day. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's National Stop the Bleed Day, and all over the country, trauma centers are holding courses to teach bystanders bleeding CPR. And so come take the course, it's free, and it's a 1 hour course and you can save someone's life.
I think it's very important. This is great because like I said, I was thinking, what would I know how to do? Okay, there is another technique though too, right?
There is, and part of the course we're going to show you how to use a tourniquet.
Okay.
If someone is bleeding from an area that's an arm or leg, okay, and this can happen if someone's out on the trail, they're biking, they fall, and now they've broken their arm or their leg, and there's a cut and it's bleeding, right? So same thing, ABC, and you put the tourniquet on.
Okay.
Now,
are you going to do this on me?
is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, we're going to do it. Say your arm's bleeding right here.
Okay.
Okay, I got to put the tourniquet on above that.
Right.
Okay, and a thin piece of clothing is okay, so the tourniquet will go on snug. Okay, so you want to hold it and you want to put the Velcro, it's a Velcro system.
Okay.
And I've got this, and I'm going to turn this rod until it won't turn anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, and so like here is pretty much it. And then you lock it.
Okay. Wow, that is really
And then
good.
now it's going to hurt.
Yes.
Remember, you're going to reassure the person,
Right.
hey, it's okay, it's going to hurt, but I'm stopping the bleeding so EMS can get here and take
Right.
you to a hospital.
Right. So now, how quick do you have to take this off, or you might have permanent damage?
You got 6 hours, but
Oh.
remember, if I don't put this on, you could bleed to death in as little as 5 minutes.
Right. So.
And so I got to put
So
this on.
I think I'd rather have this.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's great. Okay. So you've got training coming up. How do people find out where the nearest training is?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. The nearest training, you
Because I
can
can feel it. You know.
go
I
to
can
the
feel
University Hospital website,
Right.
and we have training tomorrow in person.
Okay.
And then you can also request for virtual training classes.
Okay.
If you have a group, we can set it up for your group privately.
Yeah, you know, you can see it there. There's the QR code. So all they got to do is just go and put the phone up and find out exactly all that information, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, doctor, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now I feel a little bit more confident on kind of what to do, but I really need to go to the training.
Absolutely.